How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So we just got done watching Deadpool and Wolverine. Watched it last night. We were originally going to watch it on Thursday because I hate getting things spoiled. But we had to do that PSA dinner, so we couldn't. So I'm with my brother Thomas. We watched it together, and we watched it last night, which would have been Sunday. So we're going to give our review, our kind of take on it, and what we thought about it, what worked, didn't work, things like that. And yeah, so Thomas, what do you think of it overall? Just give your overall. By the way, spoilers.
Yes. I don't know if on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it like, I don't know, in just movie terms, not just superheroes, probably like a solid 9. Super funny. Lots of great action. Typical Ryan Reynolds Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Hugh Jackman, it was just awesome. So I loved it.
Yeah, there's definitely like that push and pull where I was watching a clip earlier, and like Hugh Jackman, his acting really like the parts that like really needed to be very like, because the character he plays is a Wolverine that lost everything. And so when he has to go deep into that, his acting ability really shined. It's like, oh wow, I really feel this Wolverine.
Yeah. And they definitely, because sometimes with Ryan Reynolds stuff, it'll go like, where you're almost to the point of like, okay, it's getting like too much jokey joke. Like it's a little too ridiculous. And like you said, they'd rein it in with those like more serious scenes, which really helped make it a lot more balanced. So yeah, it was great. It had a good balance of humor. Like you said, Jackman's acting in certain parts where he had to relive his past and whatnot was really good. So.
Yeah, I would say Hugh Jackman's like acting was, anytime it needed that serious tone, he really brought it. I don't know if Ryan Reynolds can do it. I think he could. Actually, I've seen him in a lot of that movie, that Buried movie, where it's just him.
I haven't seen that one, but yeah.
But Deadpool as a character, I don't think can really go there as much as Hugh Jackman's character could. So definitely a good yin to yang thing. I would say if I had to give it a rating, well, it's hard. See, here's the thing. I had spicy food before I went in, so I had to drink all this water. And so then by the time I get to the theater, I had to pee so bad. And so then I peed once. And then as soon as I get back, I'm sitting there a half hour later, I had to pee again. And I was just holding it the whole time. So it kind of like ruined the experience. So don't have spicy foods and drink a lot of water before you go in. But overall, I would say probably like a 9. Only reason not a 10 would be because the plot was kind of like, the motivations of the villain was kind of stupid.
Yeah, that was my biggest gripe about it. It's just the plot felt a little
thin.
Yeah, a little weak.
Yeah, like
a little empty. It was like I was expecting something more substantial to be happening, but it kind of wasn't until the very end, and they tried to make it like a big deal.
But even the end scene, okay, they fight all the other Deadpools. Okay, cool. But then the end scene, it's like, here, let's hold on to this wire. And then it's a battery going up and down. And I'm like, I mean, the stakes don't seem that high, you know? And then also the main villain, she's like, all right, I'm going to kill you. But then they release the Juggernaut helmet and they're like, okay, I'll let you live. You can go to whatever world you want. And then she walks through and she's like, you know what? I'm just going to destroy everything. It's like,
she could have done this
a
long time ago.
At any point, like, she's like, I'm going to destroy everything and become God or whatever. And it just seemed like, I don't know, her motivations were kind of all over the place. It's like, oh, she's kind of mean, she's kind of nice, she's kind of mean again, and then I don't know.
I feel like the focus was just getting Hugh Jackman on board to do a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, cool. We'll make it funny and fun and interesting and like lots of cool action, and that's about it.
Yeah, so the plot was just kind of, I feel like they had, like most movies, like we're going to have a story and the plot goes along and stuff like that, and the characters and actors stuff. This one is like, we want to put this character in here. So we're just going to make the plot get to this character, however that happens. So, but yeah, what did you think about all the cameos and things like that? There's a lot, by the way.
They were cool. Channing Tatum's accent left a little to be desired, but it was cool. It was cool seeing Wesley Snipes and
Jennifer Gardner as Elektra.
Yeah, and Human Torch.
Oh yeah. So a part of me, I was like, oh, it's Captain America. But then I like thought about it, like as it was happening, I was like, wait a minute, he didn't die though. He just got old.
Yeah.
And so then I kind of like, I bet that's Human Torch. And so Yeah, I was right on that one. But yeah, the one cameo I hated the most, I didn't hate it. I liked the most, but was the Hulk one because I'm like, finally, we get a Hulk Wolverine, and then it's like 2 seconds long.
If that.
Like it's,
if that.
I don't even know. It was
Just
so
a
fast.
second.
It was like they did the Hulk 340 cover.
Yeah.
And then they did.
And then he just smacked him.
I was like, come on, just give me like 30 seconds. 30
more
seconds.
Of that Wolverine in that suit.
Yeah.
They didn't do enough of that. The one they spent the longest time on was funny, but they should have spent more time.
Which one?
The little guy.
Oh, yeah.
The little Wolverine.
Yeah, they said Wolverine's supposed to be what, like 5'3" in the comics or something like that. They made him like 3'4". You know, he was like,
small.
He was too small. I did like the 2099 Wolverine with the cutoff hand.
Cool, yeah.
That one was cool. That one got a lot of more, airtime or whatever, screen time compared to the Hulk one. I wish they. What did you think of the mask? I had some gripes about the mask at the end.
I don't know. You thought the eyes were too big. I don't think really that was the problem. It just, I felt like when you saw it side by side with Deadpool's mask, it was a little bit too big and like bulbous.
Yeah.
That was my only thing with it. I don't really think anything about the eyes. But
I don't think it was a real mask. I think it was a CGI mask. Yeah, I think it was a CGI mask that they put on. I think Deadpool's is a real mask, and he just. But
CG's the eyes, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Deadpool's eyes, even though they're all white, they're actually a moat. Yeah. Unlike Wolverine's, where it was just like big white eyes, and I'm like, they could have like done something. It was too big. It was too big of the white eyes, I thought.
Well, the whole mask in general was a little too big. It was a little too bulbous.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, I liked it. But yeah, I mean, the costume was great. Yeah,
it's definitely weird seeing him with that mask on though. After all the years without it, it's kind of threw me off.
It does. It takes a while to get used to. But then I'm remembering like the X-Men cartoon. I'm like, well, yeah, Wolverine does have white eyes in that. I think, and you're totally used to it. I think it was just because you're not used to it.
Him ever having a mask.
24 years, I think he played Wolverine. One costume that did not work, but I think they did this on purpose, was Channing Tatum's.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, he has such a big face.
Sausage.
It's just like, it looks so bad. And then his chest plate looked like he didn't work out and lose any weight. So he's kind of fat. So it's just like, let's put like the fake abs on the chest plate, but it was just kind of like round and barreled. Like, it looked like a bad, what's a Halloween store? Was it called the Halloween store?
Oh.
Like a bad cosplay outfit. That's what it looked like, basically. But it made up for it because it was funny. Yeah. Blade was pretty cool. I liked Blade. What do you think of the action, overall action?
It was good. I wouldn't say it's like the best action, but it was more of like action with humor. Especially the first opening action scene was the best one, where he takes Wolverine's bones.
Oh, yeah.
He's using them to beat everybody up.
Yeah. That one is good. I thought Gambit's action scenes were pretty cool. I was like, dang. Like, it was really cool. I thought Gambit's...
It was short, though.
It was short, but in that time, I thought it was, like, really, really, like, good. Like, showcased all his powers and what he could do. I feel like he got the most screen time in terms of action powers.
Yeah, everybody's already seen Elektra and Blade.
And X-23.
Yeah, and Elektra's wasn't exciting.
I don't know the girl's name. But I was like, she grew up. I was like, how old was she in the last one? I thought
when was Logan? What year was that? 18? 19?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah. But I was like, whoa, you don't even look like the same.
I don't know, preteen, teenager during that time. So
but no, the actress.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
How old was the actress? Like 15 then? 16?
Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like a teenager. So, of course, now, a couple years later, she's going to look way older.
Yeah, she's like 22, 23.
Yeah.
But she looks like she's grown.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was still a child in the first one.
Anyways, yeah. So, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I would say the weakest part, even, what's his name? Proxy or something like that? The villain that's at the TVA.
Parallax?
No.
No.
Parallax is the villain in Green Lantern.
Yeah. Something like that.
Proxy, Parallax, Project.
I
don't know. Yeah. Even his motivations are kind of like a little
There wasn't really any motivation. He just wanted to
be more efficient.
Yeah,
that's it.
Just have more power, basically.
Yeah, he's like, they take too long. I just want to clean. They normally takes like 3 days. I want to do it like instantly or something like that. I'm like, that's your motivation to go through all these hoops, just to. So that was kind of, weird. But overall, I thought the movie is like definitely worth watching. I'll probably watch it again when it comes on streaming, for sure.
Yeah. It's very funny. So
yeah, very, very funny.
Worth watching.
A lot of the jokes were like current jokes, which like the one where he said about his divorce.
Yeah,
he's like, I watched that part when he said it, and so he basically says that Hugh Jackman didn't get in shape because he just went through a divorce, like Ryan Reynolds literally says on screen. But when he says that, it's the camera's just on him, and I think. Like, Ryan Reynolds comes back and says his dialogue, so I don't think Hugh Jackman was in the room. I don't think he actually said that to him, because I was like, ugh. And that's another thing. They could have filmed it and maybe 6 months ago, and then he goes in to do his dialogue after, and he's like, oh, I should say this joke here.
Yeah.
Like, change the joke, because this is current.
Yeah.
Because they made jokes about Furiosa, that Mad Max movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was kind of weird, because they filmed all the Mad Max-looking stuff. So, that was... I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It was definitely funny, though. There was lots of good jokes in there.
Yeah. It was definitely funny. Felt like
what was it? The nice Deadpool?
Yeah, nice pool.
Nice pool.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, they had a dog in it, of course. My wife loved the dog. It was like her favorite part was the dog and the Backstreet Boys thing. They definitely...
that was good, too.
They definitely, like, went for the 30s to 40-year-old, like, nostalgia in terms of music.
Same with their song picks and just a lot of stuff in general.
Which makes sense, because those are the people watching the movie, let's be honest.
Geared towards millennials.
So the movie is the biggest R-rated movie of all time, opening weekend. And it's
440?
Yeah.
It was 438 was their projection.
And it's 441 or something like that. And then it turned out to be the 6th largest opening out of any movie. So including like every movie that's ever existed, 6th largest. So basically only like Spider-Man and Avengers and Star Wars has beaten it in terms of that. So that's pretty good. What do you think it's going to end up making?
I have no idea.
I'm going to say probably around like the $1.5 billion mark.
Yeah, I don't know what the gap is usually between opening weekend and whatever ends up making like percentage jump.
It depends on the movie. It's like, but it could be triple. So
that's the thing. This has a lot of rewatchability.
Yes.
So yeah, it's gonna grow quite a bit from where it's at.
Yeah. So I'm guessing like probably around the 1.5 billion. I knew it was gonna make over $1 billion.
Yeah.
So it's already halfway there.
Disney will learn their lesson.
Yeah. Exactly. Maybe. Yeah. I don't think so. I feel like Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts are kind of like the old Marvel or old Disney regime. I feel like they've been moving things around, and maybe starting with the Fantastic Four will kind of be like this movie and the Fantastic Four, because Ryan Reynolds mostly in charge of this movie. Like they fired all the writers and directors and pretty much everyone on the Avengers 5, and then they redid everything. I mean, they casted Robert Downey Jr., they got the Russo brothers back, so maybe this is like coming in and like chopping things up. I don't know, but I have a feeling Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts are not going to be very good. And then starting with Fantastic Four and beyond, I feel like it'll be like a new MCU rebirth.
Yeah, hopefully. They could just take phase 4. Or which one were we just in?
No
4 or 5?
I have no idea.
Whichever one we were just in, and just shove that off a cliff and just start over, because
maybe
I feel like all the recent
I thought about
terrible.
this. Maybe they did that on purpose. Maybe they purposely wanted bad movies, because then you can't sustain that hype. Right, forever. Eventually, even if you're putting out 10 out of 10 movies, eventually people just like, eh.
Yeah.
But if you do this roller coaster of emotions.
That's what our friend Cortland said back when they started this phase or whatever, when they had, like, they released what movies were going to be, and he said, oh, it's probably going to be terrible. And he even mentioned that it's like maybe a tactic. Maybe they're going to give us like a bunch of bunk,
Yeah.
And then, so, you know, everybody kind of gets over it. They get sick of it, whatever. And then they do, you know, the next phase is going to be that much better.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, this is like whatever. And then
it's
like,
back.
Yeah,
and then
back.
you have like all this new
because
energy.
you can't sustain that forever.
Yeah, you can't sustain
Even
that
if they're
energy.
great, people are going to get sick of it.
Yeah, you'll
People
get
are just
bored.
gonna
Yeah, so you make them crappy on purpose, and then, you know, and lose a bunch of money only to
throw
gain.
out a bunch of characters and movies that nobody cares about anyway.
Because think about this.
Like the Marvels.
Thanos was the big baddie for a decade or more.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, after Iron Man 1, the first one, it's like, we're going to build the Avengers. Once they get the Avengers, it's like, oh, who's the big baddie? Oh, it's Thanos at the end. They build him up. What happens, whatever the next phase was after Avengers Endgame, no big baddie. Not a mention of anyone. Nothing. Like, Kang was the closest they had, and Kang was just...
Well, he was their intent, but...
Was he, though? He was in one movie.
Kang Dynasty.
Yeah, he was in one movie, and he got beat by Ant-Man. So if you can beat by Ant-Man, you stand no chance against...
in one movie. He was in... Was he in Guardians? Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of... Who's the bad guy in Guardians?
Which one?
With the face?
Guardians 3?
Yeah.
That's Evolutionary.
Evolutionary. I was thinking of...
No, he was only in one movie and he's done. That was a good movie.
What was Kang in?
Nothing. Ant-Man.
And Loki.
Oh, yeah. A TV show. Yeah. Not really. He was at the end of Loki. And that was just a variant of... I don't know. Not that many people watch Loki. I mean, good amount, but not like...
It was one of their better shows, I think.
Well, they don't have much to go off of. So.
It's the only one I watched. But yeah, I just hope with Doctor Doom they make him like, because the thing with Thanos is he was perfect. He was like big, imposing, and they showed him more and more as time went on. So they started out just like a little bit at a time. So you just kind of like don't know what's going on. If you know the comics, you know who he is. But if you're just a moviegoer, you don't know who this like character is. So with Doom, I feel like they kind of have to do that, because if it's mostly just going to be Downey without a mask, you're just like looking at Tony Stark all the time, and it's not that imposing. It's like whatever.
Yeah, I was like thinking about more about it, and I was like, Robert Downey Jr. can 100% do the role. I'm not worried that he can't do the role. The problem is most people saw him as Tony Stark
for a long time.
Yeah,
not just Chris Evans and Human Torch in like one movie.
People's entire lives.
Yeah.
Like from kid to
and
adult.
He's like the main guy.
So I don't see. It just seems very odd to me, because even if you forgive it, it's like, hey, he's just an actor. He's just playing a role.
Yeah.
But he's in the same universe, and it's just like, I don't know.
He looks the exact same.
And he looks the same, and the good thing.
Go like Tropic Thunder for this. So
yeah, people liked Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark because he's kind of like serious when he needed to be, but he's also very jokey. You can't have Dr. Doom cracking jokes.
Yeah. So
I don't know what they're gonna do. So people are gonna be like confused, because if Robert Downey Jr. plays Dr. Doom correctly, he'll be so far from Tony Stark that I don't know.
Which he can do. It's just gonna be very weird to see that. It's just gonna be weird if they do too much face time versus mask time. Like with Deadpool, he has a lot of mask time.
Yeah, I would say he rarely took off the mask.
Yeah.
Rarely, which is good.
Yeah.
It's like Dread.
It should be. And it's like we all know who Downey is. Like we don't need to see him without a mask all the time.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like if
they're going to do the inner mask, you know, inside mask that they had for Iron Man.
I mean, it was fine back in the day when it was like new and interesting, but it's not very...
Yeah. So do you think they're going to make a Deadpool 4?
I mean, if they want money, they will. I don't see why they wouldn't. There's no reason not to. There wasn't anything that happened at the end of this to be like, okay, no more Deadpool.
Do you think Ryan Reynolds will do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You think he'll continue on? Do you
this
think
is like kind of like
Jackman's going to come back?
Like, why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, of course you could do other movies, but why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, you have this.
Yeah. That's why Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. Is we were talking about this. No matter what movies you do, and he won an Academy Award and all that stuff, that will satisfy a lot of actors winning a, but nothing will satisfy him like walking into like Hall H or somewhere and a whole stadium of people screaming. Nothing will satisfy. No kid is going to come up, or no person will come up and be like, I saw you in that Oppenheimer movie. Wow, you did a really good job. No one. Everyone will be like, you're Iron Man. You're Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, people come up to you and just want to take pictures like, oh, Iron Man, Iron Man, Iron Man. No one's going to be like, you're whatever, Senator Mills. I have no idea what his name was in that movie. Or any other movie he's ever done. He was in Chaplin. No one's going to be like, oh my gosh, it's Charlie Chaplin. No one.
Want that attention, which I'm sure
most actors do.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is they'll go away from it and they'll do other movies, and it could be great. You could win an Oscar, but no one will care. The average person won't know. The only person who'll know is your colleagues. Will be like, oh my gosh, you did the...
People appreciate good movies.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Even if a lot of people went and saw Oppenheimer or any of that stuff, you're not going to be recognized like for that. People aren't going to be as much.
Yeah.
It will fade very quickly. Like that.
Well, it's like, look at Hemsworth. It's like, what do people know him for aside from Thor?
Thor. That's it.
He's done other movies.
Mark Ruffalo. He's done a ton of movies. Yeah. Most people are just going to be, hey, you're the Hulk. Like, most people was like, oh, it's the Hulk.
Yeah.
But he's done a ridiculous amount of movies.
You know what's funny? When I think of him, though, I don't think of the Hulk. I think of, like, other stuff he's done, like Zodiac and stuff like that. Personally, just because I hate his Hulk. I hate it.
The newer version of his Hulk.
No.
I thought Avengers 1 was good.
I don't like the Ruffalo Hulk, period. I thought it would be Eric Bana. I like Edward Norton's Hulk. I don't really care for Edward Norton.
I think that Hulk killed his career.
I don't think
Eric Bana. Have you seen him in anything since then?
I mean, have you seen him in anything before?
He was in Achilles.
Oh, I thought he was in one.
Or Troy. Sorry,
yeah.
That's what movie.
But anyway, I like Edward Norton's Hulk. Not necessarily Edward Norton as Bruce Banner, but the Hulk.
Yeah,
not a fan of the new Hulk with Ruffalo.
I like the Avengers, but then it just got worse and worse, and then
he's too dumb and just lame.
Yeah,
like when the other Norton's Hulk came out, he was like big and fierce and scary and like a big monster, which is what Hulk's supposed to be. The other Hulk is just like campy and lame, and I don't know. My opinion, I don't like it.
He's okay. I don't know.
Yeah, as far as people coming back, I think Jackman will come back. It's those Disney dollars. Like, what are you going to do?
I don't think it's about the money. It has to,
yeah, but he'd have to
he hasn't won
an
Oscar yet, as far as I know. So he's going to want that.
Yeah, but he can do that too. This is not going to stop you from doing that.
Yeah, but he said that playing Hugh Jackman is really hard. Playing Wolverine is really hard to get in shape for it. It's hard at his age. He's 53. Yeah. So what is he going to be, 60? Or like in Deadpool, it's like, we're going to play you until you're 90.
You have a trainer. You have somebody make your food for you. It is hard, but it's not as hard as it is for a normal person.
You also have to have the will to always be in shape. And what if you play a character?
Always be in shape. What if you play in shape where you're shooting?
What if he has to play a character that's fat? And it's like, oh, I have to gain all this weight and then lose it again at like 60? It's not as easy.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, but Christian Bale was in his like 20s or 30s when he did that. Yeah. It's a little different when you're pushing 53 and going to be like whatever. And now he's single. He's going to be out partying and stuff like that. So
all the more reason to be in shape.
I guess that's true.
I mean, he's not going to do it forever. Maybe he'll do one or two more. Who knows?
Yeah, it just depends.
Just like,
I think they like the
what he wants to do with his life.
Which is crazy. Is every time he quits and he's like, I'm not doing it anymore, he'll come back and do, okay, this script's really good. And it'll be his best one yet. Yeah. Like Logan was his best one yet. That one got nominated for an Academy Award. Not for him, but for something else. And then this one is made like the most money out of all of them. So it's just one of those things where it's like, and it sucks.
I definitely think that Logan was a better Wolverine movie for him than this was.
Yeah.
This is a great movie, but it's not the same.
Yeah. And it sucks for whoever plays Wolverine next.
Henry Cavill.
Well,
he was in it.
I think if Henry Cavill stepped in the role, people would be fine.
Yeah.
But
he can't play that long.
Daniel Radcliffe is up for Wolverine because he's shorter. He's like 5'5".
Yeah, I mean, he can get in shape, but it's like you're not.
I've seen him in shape. He's like ripped, but I'm like, yeah, exactly.
And he can bulk up too, but it's like you're not.
How much you're gonna be Rich Pena out there, just like a big ball, like it's just.
We don't have to get that jacked, but yeah, it's like you can physically get in shape and you can kind of look the part, but you're still Daniel Radcliffe. And
okay, I'll tell you the difference. Robert Pattinson's Batman versus Ben Affleck's Batman. Like Ben Affleck's like 6'4" something. Robert Pattinson's like 5'10" or whatever the size he is. Yeah. But you see how jacked and huge he got versus Robert Pattinson's Batman. He's much more like wiry and stuff. Yeah. And I like Ben Affleck's Batman by far.
Well, I definitely like Christian Bale's Batman like 10 times.
Those are better movies. Better movies.
I'm not a fan of Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, when he was in that warehouse scene, I thought was good. he was given a terrible script.
When he was working out with like that one light on to make him look like he's in good shape.
No, I just like that big, bulky Batman, kind of like a Jim Lee drawn Batman.
Well, Batman Begins, Christian Bale.
He's like in between bigger. Robert Pattinson and
bigger.
No, I don't think so.
They're the same height.
Nah, he looks smaller.
He's more jacked.
More
jacked. Just look back at it. Anyway,
I
don't think Ben Affleck's a good Batman.
But anyways,
he's too lazy anyway.
Back to Deadpool. Great movie. I would suggest go watch it. Yeah, I think it's like somewhere around a 9 out of 10. But it's fun. It's a good time. It deserves everything it gets, and this will be probably, a nice little, carrot out there for Disney to say, hey, if we did things right, this is what we can. Nothing makes me more mad than when people say there's superhero fatigue. Nothing. And I'm like, it's not. There's no such
bad writing.
Yeah, it's bad writing fatigue,
script,
bad movie fatigue.
Plot.
Yeah. And they're like, toxic fan base if you don't like everything we like or put out. And it's like, no, just make something good and people will like it. So anything else?
I would say, it's totally worth watching. It's definitely the best superhero movie that's come out in a while. So if you like superhero movies, then you're not going to be let down.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Later.